Okay, we're going to resolve a turn of Hind Seek, which is a Soviet-Afghan wargame. We're running a Kriegsspiel campaign. First thing I'll do is I will increase the time by 15 minutes. Each turn is 15 minutes. Ooh, that's not how time works. 10 a.m. And I will also increase the amount of time the helicopters are in the air. I think there should even be, yep, that's fine, 4 turns. Okay, so in this game, Soviet convoys come along this road. It was ambushed here by Mujahideen in this copse of trees. They then retreated up the hill here. Meanwhile, Soviet airborne landed in this area and then advanced up the hill, and they started having a big firefight, while the Mujahideen had completely withdrawn out of that area. Soviet convoy then continued to move along here. Helicopters had previously taken some fire from this village. You can see there's Mujahideen all through here, but the Soviets haven't been able to spot them yet. All they could see is the civilians so far. So they've had Hind gunships searching this area, but they haven't been able to find anything. So we probably want to focus on just one area to start with. I might do... Let's see. We're going to look at all our orders. I'll go for the Soviet Commander-in-Chief first. He wants the Hinds to loop around and support the VDV with their firefight, and also launch the Mi-8s to with their door gunners to provide support. So we'll do that. First thing we usually do is delete all the lines. Don't need those anymore. I will also remove any suppressed markers like this. And I think I have some of those up there I can use. Yep, so I'll just delete that. And then each unit can make 2 actions. Because they were suppressed 1 this turn, I'm just going to mark an action already used for them. So they will only be able to use 1 action, this unit. And I just mark actions with a dot next to them while I'm resolving. So these Hind gunships are going to move around to here. I'll just draw the line first. Essentially, helicopters can move anywhere on the table in 1 turn. They'll have 2 actions, so one action might be moving anywhere pretty much on the table. There's no real limit because they're just so fast. And then another action would be probably attacking. These units here are flipped over onto their dispersed side, so it would require a gunship to actually make a quality check to detect them. Whereas these units over here are already revealed, so the gunships could come in and attack these straight away. So it's a pretty good idea from the Soviet commander to get them to attack there. Now, a helicopter, I try to make a helicopter move in kind of a natural way. They were facing in this direction. They would come around here. I would say they'd probably do a pass over the area and then loop back and do their attack run. So they'll probably be about here when they do their attack run. Maybe I'll just put them here so they're out of the way of this firefight. And I'll just do a line of where they've been. So I can do... In fact, I'll do it in a different color because there might be lots of other movement around. Let's do it like a tan color. Essentially go around here, do a pass over, and then come back for the attack run. Because with a helicopter, you often need to kind of make a pass and check out your targets, and then you come back and make your attack run. So that'll be their movement. That's their 1 action, or that's their movement action at least. So they're both doing 1 action. I'll come back to them. I'll come back to this firefight later. I think I'll probably resolve this one first because this is going to be interesting. So let's look at our orders. We have 2 different Soviet platoons here. Soviet first platoon is the one who was hit with the ambush. And they pretty much just want to allow the trucks to move up to the line which separates 0359 and 0459. So he's giving grid references. So where is that? 03... I'll just check the grid references for that. 0359, 0459, 03... so he wants the trucks to advance to this line here. We'll see what we can do. But it may not be easy. because you have all these BMPs in the way. And I'll just show that they've moved there. I personally like to make these movement actions so people can see what's happened, but everyone's going to be different. It would depend on the second platoon's actions, whether they let their BMPs move. What are the rest of his orders? If some of the drivers protest and reminds me about some deadlines or similar nonsense, I explain to him with a good deal of swear words that we have more important things to solve right now. Now, the Soviets do actually have a time limit to get these trucks off the table, so that's why the players are getting some subtle hints from the drivers to say we have a schedule. If they're not off the table by a certain turn, or by the time the game ends, the Soviets it'll change the victory conditions. I stop with my BTR in front of the convoy and wait, eyeing the slopes on both sides of the road. Both my remaining squads are ordered to stay with me. They can join the fight later. So he's pretty much just stopping and waiting. He's not actually going to do anything there. So I'd say they probably would just spread out into the hills a little bit like this, and just get a good kind of position to check out the this village up here. So they're not really doing too much. And so I'll give them one action each, just kind of preparing, waiting. They haven't given any direct orders to do things, so I'll give them one action, just kind of, taking it easy there. Now let's check out Soviet second platoon. Full platoon will sweep der Toot dismounted, starting from the west. 2 and 3 squads at a time, taking turns as the maneuver section, with the machine gun and sniper teams, and the alternating remaining squad acting as covering support fire if needed. My own command section will also lead this move while dismounted. Wow. Okay, so he wants his commander to lead the attack. Okay, good on him. We'll see what we can do. BMP Bronegruppe, which is the name for a group of vehicles whose infantry have been dismounted, which then acts as a fire support group. Linger outside the town at roughly 1 kilometer range, ready to provide fire support immediately when called on. I'll have them first orbit towards the north side of the town as we enter from the west to get better enfilade fire. That's not too bad. So his men want to come in from the west, so they will move down like this towards the west, while his Bronegruppe moves towards the north to try to get enfilade fire. Now we have all these Mujahideen waiting in ambush here. So if both sides were detected, usually I would roll off to see who makes the first action. Because these Mujahideen are specifically waiting in ambush, they will get to essentially spring the trap when they want to. When they see it, it's a good position to do so. So let's make a start. Commander wants to lead. They can move 500 meters per turn, so he'd move to there. 500 meters. That's one action. I'll just mark one action next to him. I don't think the Mujahideen would do anything at that point. Second platoon also moving. I'd probably move them just ahead. I don't know if they would really wait for the commander. To be honest, putting the commander at the front is pretty nuts. Usually you'd have the, infantry moving forwards. Let's see exactly what it said. Full platoon will sweep dismounted starting. So it wants all the infantry to go from the west. 2 squads at a time, taking turns as the maneuver section. Okay. My own command will lead this move while dismounted. So he wants 2 squads, and then MG and sniper teams alternating remaining squad acting cover. So, okay, so he wants to leave all his LMG and sniper teams. He's got 4 squads. Okay, so essentially he's going to send 2 and leave 2 to hold back for the moment. So I'd probably do something like this. These would move 500 meters. And let's say so they've each made one action. And then he's going to make his second action, and that makes him kind of leading to there. Very foolish to be leading a patrol like that with your command section. And you can see he's walking into a whole world of hurt there. And he's just used his second action, so that'll be all he can do for the moment. And I'll just erase that one there. Okay, so would the Mujahideen react yet? Probably not. I'll start moving these guys around to the side here. They can move around 4 kilometers off-road per turn, so each grid is 1 kilometer here, so they would be easily able to move up to that area. So they can move up to there, that'll be 1. And you can see I'm kind of alternating 1 action at a time. Usually I do 1 action from the Soviets, 1 action from Mujahideen. We go 1 action each. But because the Mujahideen are not reacting yet, I'm just doing all the Soviet moves until the Mujahideen react. So, BMP's moved around. I think I will do the second action for these guys. They're moved to about here. They want to sweep from the west. So they probably go, let's say they go to about here. Something like that. And these guys move to about here. And that would probably be about the point where the where the Mujahideen will react. I'll put them there. He's kind of leading, and yeah, he's leading as much as he can. He was behind them, so they could potentially wait, but I think they would probably fan out and start trying to assault this town. Maybe we could put them back there a little bit. Now, that would be both of their actions. So all these Soviet units have now made all their actions. They won't be able to get any more. Just because, now the Mujahideen will react next, but what I'll do is I will, essentially while this is happening, because we don't have both sides taking actions, while this is happening, these units would also be kind of spreading out up here and getting ready to provide fire. So I'll put them in place as well, because it seems to be unfair that they would have to wait until the Mujahideen start opening fire. So I'll put them up here so they can cover something like that. And because this is all kind of happening simultaneously, so I'd put these BMPs around here as well. Something like that. The BMPs all move around to the north to try to cover. It is more difficult for them to hit things when they're moving off-road like that as well. So they've all made 1 action. I will draw in the movement lines. These guys move out here. Meanwhile, the commanders move this way with these units here. Okay, so you can see most of these units have taken 1 action. This commander has not given any orders for his BTR, but the lethal range is about 2,000 meters, I think, so he could potentially still light things up. Let me check. BTR has BTR 60 has a 14.5 millimeter, which has a 2,000 meter lethal range, so it'll still be able to light up some targets there. And the ruler here is in meters, so still be able to do some damage from back there. And actually, the trucks can move up to that line that he wanted them to, so that's good. Only problem is it blocks the line of sight for his BTR, which is not ideal. So I'll just show them moving up there. That's good. Okay, everyone's roughly in position, ready to be ambushed. You can see from the Mujahideen, I think it's third platoon. Yes, third platoon. Hold positions, brothers. Do not spring the trap too soon. Orders are to stay hidden behind cover and wait. Then I told him, that was his orders at the start of the turn. Because there is he's seen these infantry approaching him. He has kind of a micro decision to make in between him giving orders and me resolving the turn. So I've asked him, you can see Soviet infantry starting to advance towards the west with vehicles holding back around 1 kilometer away. How do you want to respond? And told him that his RPG gunners could sprint and attack the vehicles for a good effect, but it would likely be suicidal. They'd be out in the open, they'd probably be caught and killed. But they're also highly effective against infantry. The 12.7mm HMG is capable of punching through a BMP or causing the crew to become spooked, but it would be a tough shot to destroy one from the front. And essentially he needs to roll a 6 to destroy a BMP. You can see here, BMP 1. I think a 12.7mm is a -1 versus vehicles. And the BMP 1 here, he would need to roll a 6 essentially to destroy, because it's -1. And then there's the possibility he could also cause a morale check. That's what M means. M is morale check, D is destroyed. And because this Soviet platoon is all shaky, they're all like very low quality conscripts, any morale check will likely be devastating. They pass on a 5+ on a d6, so it's unlikely they're going to pass. So, when I asked him that, he said, order 1 squad of infantry to sneak around using the ridgeline as cover to 0460, which is, I think you're right, 0460. Wow, he wants to sneak around to the north. Now, his infantry the Mujahideen infantry here are hardened veterans. They're very, very hardcore. They would see all this activity. There's no way they would want to sneak around there. I'd be very surprised. These guys advancing to there would be suicidal, totally suicidal. There is a possibility they could use one of their trucks to totally outflank in this direction. Let's see. That's about 1,003. That'll be about 3 kilometers and about 500 meters. They could probably make it to about there if they took a truck and flanked around. They could do that. It would cause some chaos in the rear of these units, and might be. We could kind of interpret his order as that. Instead of just going straight through, he kind of flanks around just to cause some chaos from behind. Yeah, why not? Let's do it. So he can go about 4 kilometers off road. He essentially makes a long way around there to about here. So that would be his one action. So that when transporting infantry, vehicle will take 1 action, and then the infantry still have 2 actions. So they could then dismount. Oops. And they can go up to... dismounting is generally 1 action, so it'll take them 1 action to get off, and they can go up to 500 meters. So we can put them up to about here, up in the hills a little bit. They go a little bit slower when moving uphill, but you just kind of eyeball it. And then it'll be difficult to get them within lethal range. 4 kilometers. That's kind of as far as they can go. He can start suppressing these guys from behind, and it'll cause a big problem. But I mean, he's gonna take the wrath of all these BMPs. We'll see. They're gonna have a lot of targets, so there's gonna be a lot of. They're gonna have to prioritize targets. So we'll see what happens. But yeah, this is a good kind of distraction method from the Mujahideen here. So that's good. He's stay out of sight of the BMPs and wait until open new axis of attack. Stay out of sight of the BMPs and wait until the firefight erupts to engage. Okay, if BMPs advance, retreat back. Enemy infantry is the priority. So he's actually said that if the BMPs engage, to retreat back. So, he would be moving around here. He'd probably be about here by the time these BMPs are around. They're already facing away from him, so I think he'd be okay to move, kind of skirt around here a little bit. Clearly their attention is on what's in front of them. He could even potentially park just up here, and then 500 meters. You can get to about there. Let's say that. I've already made the lines. Fuck it. They can go to there. That's fine. That's good enough. He's parked in the foothills there somewhere. Okay, that's good. So that is that action. This is all kind of before the contact. They've all kind of made these flanking moves. Okay, enemy infantry is the priority. All other units remain concealed until further notice. Now he has given the order to... orders are to stay hidden behind cover and wait. But he's also said enemy infantry are the priority. See if the convoy pass. Orders to disperse at the first sign of overwhelming opposition. That was from a couple turns ago. He then saw all the enemies advancing. Hold position. Do not spring the trap too soon. He wants to spring the trap, okay? And then he's also said enemy infantry is the priority. So if I was the Mujahideen commander there, that would be an ideal place to spring the trap as a massive kill zone for these units here. So he's going to go for it. Now, usually in an ambush like this, the ambushing player will get 3 actions, and then the other side can respond. So we'll start just making some attacks here. Okay. Boom boom time. Let's start with... who to start with? We'll start with a light machine gun to the rear of this infantry unit. even to the commander. Would they be able to know? Would they know he's a commander? I will give them I'll give them a 50% chance to understand the commander's there and to try to target him. On 4 or higher, yep, they know the commander's there, so they will. Now, usually you would need let's see. Yeah, they're up on a hill there a little bit, so they would easily be able to engage them, no problem. Okay, so I'm going to give them an attack. Light machine gun against the commander there. Now they're easily within lethal range, 170 meters. This is light machine gun is a RPK, 1,000 meter lethal range. Versus infantry, there's no modifier. We are... I believe we're supposed to be +1 to the side. Huh. There should be... Let me just check the original rules. Sometimes I accidentally delete things in the file. Let me see. Taking infantry. Prone and... There should definitely be a +1. Oh, okay, the morale checks... The morale checks are where you take in the flanking area. And I would have probably given +1 to flanking fire, but that's okay. We'll just take it as is. So there's no modifier for flanking, but there will be when he makes his morale check. So I'll make my attack, and I'm just rolling dice here on the table. You won't be able to see my dice, unfortunately. I'm using physical dice. I don't like and don't trust the tabletop simulator dice. So since these guys are veterans, they're going to need a 2 or higher on a d6. In order to make an attack, they roll 1d6, essentially a quality check. And you can see here, this is what they need. They're veterans, they need a 2+ in order to succeed the attack and then be able to roll damage. So we'll roll the dice, they roll a 6, and then we're going to roll on this infantry damage table. There would be no cover, I don't think, and our modifier for a RPK is no modifier. So it's just going to be a standard damage. So I'm just going to roll on this dice on this table here. I rolled 3, so that is suppressed. Okay, so make this a bit smaller here. So I will also usually at the start of the turn I'll also delete all these tracer markers. So I'll delete all these because we don't need to have those. That's from last turn. And I can just take that one with me. Okay, so light machine gun opens up on the commander there. Bad times for the commander. And I'll put a suppressed marker there. So he is suppressed, he loses 1 action next turn. So that'll be my first action out of 3 for the ambush. I'll go for my next attack. 2 or higher, I succeed. Roll damage. It's a 5. So that is -2 to morale and suppressed 1. Now, suppressed 1 doesn't... 2 results of suppressed 1 does not equal suppressed 2. They don't add up. So you need to get to a higher level to get suppressed 2. A better roll. Suppressed 1 just means you lose 1 action. Suppressed 2 means you lose 2 actions. So in this case, he's lost 2 morale. This little number here is the morale, so he's now at 4. And every time you lose morale, you need to take a morale check. So I'm just going to give him a morale check at the end of the turn. So I'm just going to give him a little marker to say morale check required. And that will be both the actions from this light machine gun. The third platoon as well is probably going to, I would say, attack this infantry here. We'll go for that. We'll make a quality check. I roll a 5, so that's an easier success. And then rolling damage is a 1, so that is just suppressed 1. It's not that good. So the squad's made an action here as well. Those are my 3 actions. Now we need to do some reactions from the Soviets. So I'll just put another one of these in here. And we kind of need a smaller one here, but it's not going to get any smaller for me. So let me just use the gizmo to scale that to be a little bit smaller. 0.08. 0.08 should be about right. Something like that. A very small tracer marker. It's very awkward. Whatever. Gotta love tabletop simulator sometimes. That's good. Okay, so 3 actions now. The Soviets can respond. What are they going to do? They'll probably respond by firing a BTR, a BMP at this unit down here. So let's do that. They've got 1 action. They need a 5 or higher because they're shaky. They need a 5 or higher to actually inflict damage. They roll a 3, so that's ineffective fire. I still show them firing, but essentially they just blaze away at the hill down there. They see gunshots going off, but it doesn't actually do anything. And usually I'll just name this effective fire. So that's cool. And that'll be their second action. And now we just kind of start alternating action by action. So I'll do my next attack with this squad against the same unit. Or I could even go against the light machine gun. I suppose it doesn't matter. I'll go against the same unit again. So I roll a 5, easily succeed my quality check, and then rolling on damage, I roll a 3, which is suppressed 1 still. So they're just still suppressed 1. They haven't lost any morale yet, so they're not doing too bad. So it'll be my next action. Now I'll do my next attack with this BMP over here. Rolls a 4, so that's another ineffective fire. So they're lighting up the whole tree line, the whole ridge line there, but nothing is really happening. And that will be his second action. Okay, now let's do RPG here. On a 4+, the RPG is going to target the commander. Nope, he's going to target the squad instead. Or he could target the light machine gun. I think I'll target the light machine gun. Why not? So I need to roll a 2+. Ooh, I fail. Wow. Okay, so he's still kind of grappling with the RPG to try to load it or something like that. So that's fine. So as I'm making attacks with these, they're considered to be revealed. These other guys are considered to be all hidden until they actually attack or move like this. So these guys would be revealed. Probably these guys would not notice them until, I don't know, I guess we'll see, until they fire, open fire. Oh yes, we must remember that both of these have made, he's made 1 action, he's made 1 action. So they'll actually get an action later on. Okay, that's good. So he's made his attack. Now one of these BMPs will try to fire at that RPG gunner. On a 5+, he also fails. So a more ineffective fire. And sometimes they don't exactly line up, so you need to use the rotate button to... Oops. That's not the right one. Oh, I'm putting it under the table. What am I doing? It's supposed to be the... Here we go. To show that he's targeting the RPG. And I like to do that so that the umpires and players can see where the fire's actually going. Ah, crap, but as soon as you pick it up... Ah, shit, that's... I should know that. And as soon as you pick it up, it screws it, so... Just do that again. Here we go. And move it in this direction a little bit. And I'm just going to lock it in place so I don't accidentally pick it up again. Okay, so that's his second action. Now the RPG gunner can go again. He'll be way out of range. He's only got about a 300 meter range, so there's no way he can attack pretty much anyone except these units here. So he's going to go again for the light machine gun gunner. Wow, he rolls a second one. Okay, so something is... maybe his RPG is, you know, something bad's going on there. It's not quite working, so that's okay. So the very last BMP will fire at him again. They roll a 2, so that is more ineffective fire. Hooray! And this is pretty much what they did last turn. Last turn they tried to light up all the fleeing Mujahideen up these hills, and they all just failed massively. They're not well trained. They're just spraying and praying and not really, don't really know what they're doing. They're just losing tons and tons of ammo. So that is all those BMPs have done their action. Now we'll go for the next. There's a light machine gun here. He's going to attack that light machine gunner. So 2 or higher. Wow, he rolls a 1 as well. Maybe they just weren't quite in the position they wanted to be. It's hard to know, but they're just rolling poorly. I suppose it's good for the Soviets, but you kind of want this ambush to go really, really well for the Mujahideen if they're waiting there. So these Soviets up here still have 1 action each. They've all made 1 action to move, but each of these kind of considered a separate unit, so they could still have 1 action remaining. Let's see. It's a bit hard for them to see past these. I suppose they're a little bit on elevation there. Yeah, I'm going to say they're up on a hill. They can see over them, so I'll allow them 800 meters. That's long enough to be lethal range for a light machine gun, so this light machine gun is going to attempt to light up that RPG down there. It does not succeed. More ineffective fire. Trying to target that RPG. And that will be the light machine gun's second action. And now we'll go for the next light machine gun for the Mujahideen, attacking that light machine gunner again. Roll the 6, easily within lethal range. It's 1,000 meter lethal range, so I'll roll damage on that. Let's see what happens. It's a 4, so that is suppressed 1 and -2 morale. So that's this one here. Also -2 to morale, takes them to 4. All units start at 6 morale, and if they get to -1, they're removed from the game. So, and then when they take their morale check, they get a -1 to their morale check for each point of morale they've lost. So this guy will be taking morale check at -2. This guy will be checking morale check at -2 as well. In fact, I'm pretty sure shaky units actually start with a -1. Oh, they start with a -1 morale modifier. Okay, so actually all these guys should be 5. Oops. 5, 5, 5, 5. This guy's now 3. He'll be 5. And it's just because I haven't set this up quite correctly to start with. 5. He'll be at... Should also be at 5. This guy here will be at 3, the commander. So he'll have a -3 morale check. He'll have a -3 morale check. Okay, so that is my second action for this guy. I've got a few more actions from these guys up here. So he's used both his light machine gun here has used both his actions. The squad there, let's see what their range is. Beyond 500, so all they could do is really suppress them, but they'll try anyway. They're beyond lethal range with their AK. The AK-47 74 is only 500 meter lethal range, so we'll try meter 5+. Hey, we succeed. Look at that. So we'll roll damage. We get a 3, which is a suppressed 1. So we do manage to suppress them partially. That machine gunner down there, but we don't cause any morale damage. And that is their second action up there. Now we'll go to another Mujahideen action. What do we got? We've got this pickup here with a technical with a 12.7mm on it. It has a possibility of destroying some of these BMPs, but like I said, it's very unlikely. But then the Mujahideen know this is pretty much the only thing that's going to be able to destroy those vehicles. So we could use it to try to annihilate these infantry. If we look at the 12.7mm, you can see against infantry it's +1, vehicles -1. So it's pretty good against infantry. It's not bad. If I was the Mujahideen, I'd probably try to target these BMPs just to maybe force one of them to run away, but it's unlikely you'll be able to get all of them. They're always going to be a problem there, so we might as well just focus on these infantry here. So we're going to light up this... who's he going to target? He's probably a bit far away to know who's the commander. He's 500 meters away, so I don't think he'd be able to understand who's who the commander. He'll try to light up this squad here, so... 2+, he succeeds, and then a +1 to damage. There's a 3, which gives us a suppressed 1. So he has also suppressed the squad. That's one action. Now down here we've got a sniper. He's got a 2,000 meter lethal range. I'll allow him to try to shoot this sniper, this RPG gunner down here. Wow, he succeeds. He got a 5. And he got a 5 for damage. That sniper's kicking ass. So that is suppressed 1 and -2 to morale. So the sniper from way back there has managed to, 900 meters away, he's managed to actually inflict morale damage on these guys. Although, 1 second. Veterans start with a +2 modifier. Can only ever be suppressed 1. Okay, so actually these guys all start with like an 8, which I should have set properly. So now he'll be 6. These guys 8, 8. So morale is pretty key in this game. And veterans are not to be trifled with. Tone command also 8. And this guy is another one here, 8. So he's taken morale damage. He'll need to, whoops. He'll need to take a morale check at the end of turn as well. Good shot from that sniper back there. So that's 1 action from him. I better put oops, don't want an effective fire. I want effective fire. So you can see it's devolving into quite a firefight here. They're really opened up on everything. Oops. So that is opening up on them down there. If I can light up with a gun, that'd be great. Look at that, beautiful. Beautiful. So I'll do my next attack with him against, I've got a sniper and a squad there, so I'll light up the squad. It's a bit hard to pick out an individual sniper, so he succeeds. And then rolls a 1, which is still suppressed 1. Oh, sorry, he's +1 to damage. So that is, it's a 2, so it's still only suppressed 1. So sometimes things are affected like that, sometimes they're not. So he's lighted them up with a 12.7mm heavy machine gun, and it's just suppressed the squad, so it's not too bad. Okay, so that's his second action. Sniper back here he'll have that's the end of his action. He's moved once, and then he's done his second action. We do have a squad here that could potentially light up someone down here with a AK. AK suppression range is up to 3,000 meters, so they can still suppress targets up to 3,000 meters away. So I think they'll probably try to suppress. To be honest, it doesn't really matter because veteran units can't be suppressed 2; they can only be suppressed 1. So he could try to suppress these units down here. I'd probably randomize. Because it's easy to see these guys, but if he can see them, in fact, I'll give him a quality check. On a 5+, he'll try to suppress these guys, which he might actually be able to do. No, he's not able to, so he directs his gunfire down there, and it won't really do much. But at least he's in the fight, so that's good. Okay, so that is all those. Soviet units have now made all their actions, except for these ones back here, who have kind of been ordered just to like watch and wait. They've got a light machine gun that can't really do much from down there. He could try to suppress. Yeah, I'll give him a chance to suppress these guys. Why not? These guys are better quality, so they're solid quality, so they need a 3 or higher to inflict damage. They do, so we'll say the light machine gun down there is able to. I'll just make that a bit bigger. Is able to inflict damage on them. There will be cover because they're kind of behind the sandy ridge here. I'll give them cover, so we will give them you can see light cover. I'll give them a -1. So roll the dice. -1 becomes a 5. I rolled a 6. So suppressed 1, -2 morale. Because it's beyond lethal range, it is 1,200, and the light machine gun has a 1,000 meter lethal range. It'll just be suppressed 1. So I'll give them a suppressed marker there. Oops. And that'll be his second action. What else do we have here? We have a commander here. If I was a veteran Mujahideen commander, what would I do in this position? I think I'd probably move around to here just to try to get out of this kill zone. I would probably just reposition around to here because that's a nuts place to be. I don't really want to be near those guys. What I'll do is I could shoot and then get out of there. So I might just shoot at these guys from the back of the truck. I also have a problem where trying to give orders to these guys is going to be a mission because it's they're more than 2 kilometers away. So I might just stay around here actually. Just move to there just to try to get a little bit further out. And before I leave, I'll just do some pot shots at these guys with the commander, because the commander is essentially just a group of like a squad of Mujahideen. So I'll do some pot shots while I'm there. 2 or higher, I succeed. I'll shoot at probably just the squad there. I get a 3, so that's still suppress 1. It's not going to do anything else. 3, suppress 1. Okay. Okay, I still have the squad here. Soviets have pretty much used all their actions. I mean, they could. There's not much more they can do from back there. These veterans cannot be suppressed 2. They're only ever suppressed 1. So no matter how much shit you fling at them, they're still going to be able to move around and do what they need to do. So we've got 1 more platoon here. I might just move them down here on the outskirts so they can get a nice line of sight against, and then give us some cover from those BMPs. And then try to light up this, what have we got here? Light machine gunner. I'll try to light up that infantry unit. So 2+, success. They are 400 meters away, so that is lethal range for an AK. So I'll roll my damage. Got a 3, which is suppressed 1, so they're already suppressed 1, doesn't make too much difference. So these guys have done both their actions. Swung around there. And that is about it. Now we do have civilians in the area, and the Soviets have targeted units within, I think it's within 500 meters, or within one, let me see. Civilians. Where's my reputation stuff? Reputation within 500 meters. Fire a target within 500 meters of civilians, lose 1 reputation. So the Soviets have fired once. Probably, did they fire once or twice? I'd probably say they fired once there. These guys are within 500 meters once, twice. Around 3 times, I would say. So what I'm going to do is, I've got my reputation tracker here. They started the game, the civilians started the game, like the locals in this area, with neutral. They neither like or dislike the Soviets, but now that will move. They lost 1 reputation, so at each point of reputation it'll move to the left. So it's gone 1, 2, 3, 3 points to the left, and the Mujahideen will now gain 1 strength at the end of the game, which could be used for an asset or around 25 points worth of forces. So it could be like a couple of squads, that kind of thing. It's not crazy, but if they keep attacking civilians, the Mujahideen will start getting more and more like support from the locals. Okay, so that is pretty much the whole thing sorted. You can see it's quite a mess. These pickups can't really do much. They don't have weapons, so they kind of just stay where they are. All we need to do probably is attack with this one here. Just come around the back. I'll just do a couple of shots into this guy here. He gets a 6, so that's a success. And then rolling damage is a 5. It's beyond lethal range, so all they can do is suppression. But a 5 is like suppress 2, I think. Let's have a look. 5, still suppressed 1. Okay, so I need a 6 to get suppressed 2. And suppressed 2 is like you can't do anything. So that'll suppress them. And there's some fire coming from up. I don't want ineffective fire, I want effective fire. Okay. So that is that firefight pretty much resolved. You can see there's a lot of chaos. I'm going to roll for my morale checks now. So let's start with the commander. He is at 3 morale, so it'll be -3. I'm going to roll on this table a 2d6. And if there's infantry flanking, it's a -1. I also apply the unit's morale modifier, so -3. Flanking is considered anything, for example, if this is the front of the unit here, and then we draw lines from the corner on a 45-degree angle. This is like 45. This is kind of your front, and then anything around here is considered flanking. So right now, 45 degrees is kind of like there, and these guys will be considered flanking, so it ain't good. Just delete those. Get out of here, example. It's not a place for you. So they're considered to be flanking. We only roll 1 morale check, so let's have a look. Roll 2d6, -3 for their current morale modifier. You remember it usually starts at 6. We were -1 to start with because we're shaky, and -2 for the various attacks. So -3, roll dice, and -1 for flanking, so that's -4 in total. That is a 3, which means we lose 1 morale, so we go down to 2. Okay, and then I can remove that. Do I have those? Yes, I can just delete that. And this one here, it'll be the same thing, flanking. Actually, no, he was attacked from the front. Oh, he is attacked from the front, but there are units flanking him, so it doesn't specify whether it's the actual attacker. It just says that there's enemy infantry behind you. So, yeah, so that will be, it'll still be considered flanking because he's scared of all this fire going on around him. It feels like he's surrounded. So this one is going to be -4 as well. I rolled a 4, which is 0. So essentially rolls a 0. 1 or less, you lose 2 morale and count as broken. So I'm going to roll a d6 here. They can't move. They're kind of like psychologically just broken, shell-shocked, and stuck in place. They also lose 2 morale, so they're down to 1. And they're considered to be broken. Let's grab this over here. And that is the light machine gunner there. And what I might do is just spread them out a little bit so I can kind of see who's who here. Just spread them out a little bit so I can see they're broken. Was he attacking the... Yeah, the morale check was on the light machine gunner, so that's fine. He's broken. So he will be broken until a friendly unit moves nearby him. So, alright, let's go for the RPG gunner. Now, the reason he has that, because he's lost morale. You can see he's at 6 morale. He started at 8. Being at 6 morale is like a 0 modifier. Everyone usually starts at 0. Just that veterans have like a +2. So at 8, his morale modifier would be +2. But for the moment, he's just at 0. Is he flanked? I would say yes. These guys here, I think you have to be within 500 meters. Yes, so I would say yes, he is flanked. Yep. So I'll roll a morale check for him, just -1 for being flanked. He rolled a 6, which becomes a 5. Suppressed 2. So he's already suppressed 1, so it can't actually be suppressed 2 any further. But he's not enjoying it. Actually, he's fine. He doesn't give a fuck. So, okay. That is pretty much that. It's all resolved. Okay. Let's do the next part. So, the Hinds have come in overhead. We have these very good quality Soviet airborne have been assaulting the Mujahideen up this hill. This heavy machine gun has just made its way up and set up, so that is going to be a problem. We also have Mujahideen artillery called in, and this commander has given a correction for this artillery. So the Mujahideen commander is way back here, so he can't actually see anything that's going on. It's like 10 kilometers away. So the Mujahideen commander has called in the artillery at a grid reference he guessed, because he kind of see helicopters landing over in that area, deploying the VDV, the airborne. and then he's asking this platoon commander to make corrections for him. This platoon commander has come on the radio. You can see Mujahideen radio channel. Correction request 100 meters north. And then you can see they have to replace parts of their message with explosion sounds when they're in contact, or like battle sounds when they're in contact. Okay, so let's have a look and see what the orders are here. Soviet Airborne. Tell the sniper team I want the heavy machine gun down, then command if possible. Light machine gun teams are to suppress the insurgents. I'll take the infantry moving up the rear of the sniper team, up the hill to flank the Dushman. And Dushman's just what the Soviets called enemies in this period, and maybe still do. So he wants his commander to move up in this direction, behind the sniper here. So I will move him 500 meters to there. Like that. This artillery goes 100 meters north to there. Just not very far. Yay! A terrible correction by the Mujahideen, but that's okay. So he's moved there so far. He's gonna move like all the way up behind there. So really, I should roll off to see who gets the first turn here. So I'm gonna roll off. When both sides are already detected, I just roll off to see who makes the first action. So the Mujahideen go first. So he has moved, but that's okay. It's just a commander in the background, so not really structural. Mujahideen, what are they up to? I'm probably going to open up with this heavy machine gun first. It should be in lethal range. Let's have a look. 2,000 meters. Sounds good. So I will open up with that. Grab me some tracer marker. And I make a big one. I'll just open up on one of these squads down here. Doesn't really matter. This platoon is solid, so it'll be 3+ on a d6 to inflict damage. Success. And that'll be his one action. And I'll roll damage. I don't think they'd get any cover down there. I suppose there is a bit of a lip in the hill here. If I really want to, this map is from Google Maps, so it's a real place. I could go on Google Maps 3D view and kind of like assess the situation, but I think he'll be able to see that. He's quite high up, so I think he'll be able to see over that. So I'm just going to roll damage with no cover. +1 damage, so 3 becomes a 4, and that's -2 to morale. So that's a pretty good hit. Now these guys are also veterans here, so I actually need to just reset their morale. It should be 8 to start with. They're tough guys. Okay, so -2 morale goes to 6, and require morale check. And that's his one action. Now it'll go to the Soviets. Usually something like moving a commander would be low priority, so I think instead they'd probably want to make their attack run with their Mi-24s. And I think we'll come in, I'll just choose a target at random here. 1, 2, 3, 4. I don't think they've quite seen this guy yet. I'll just say 1, 2, 3, 4 on these different units. And roll the dice. 1. So they're going to attack this platoon here, this Hind. He needs to roll a 3 or higher to succeed. He succeeds, so he's going in with the rocket strikes. Hinds have 3 different weapons, so I'm just going to like cover this guy in rocket strikes, put that on top, and maybe something like that. Yay! Airborne artillery. Make it look cool. If I just move this over. Oh. How do I select all these guys together? Fuck you, Tabletop Simulator. Okay, we'll line them up with this. Like that. Oh. Something like that. Make those coming out of the... Oops. Fuck you. Make those coming out of the rocket areas. Okay, that's cool. Look at that. Beautiful. So as a successful rocket strike, let's have a look. I'll just save this reputation as well. I just put in Mujahideen +1 strength. That's all that's happened so far. Okay, helicopter weapons is down here. Rocket pods +3 versus infantry. Wow, rest in peace. I'll give them -1 for cover, so it'll just be +2 because they're up in the hills there. You know, there's lots of rocks and good stuff around. Hide behind. So +2 is a 3. So wow, they're only suppressed 1. That's impressive. Got away very lightly. I will continue the rest of his attack run though. He doesn't just fire rockets. He has all sorts of other cool stuff. So he's going to roll, and essentially they do a quality check for each of their weapons. And Hind has these 3 weapons. So he's done rocket pods. He's still got his 23mm cannon and also the minigun at the top front there. So the 23mm is a +2. I need to roll to hit. 3 or higher. I got it. It'll be +1 versus infantry again in cover, which is a 7. Which is pretty ruthless. 7, 1 casualties, and suppress 2 and -1 morale. So we'll put a casualties in. They are, suppress 2? Yes, suppress 2. So they're totally hitting the ground. They can't do anything next turn. Well, actually, they can't do anything this turn, because the suppression is pretty much instantaneous. So we will make them suppress 2. And they also lose 2 morale, so they're down to 4, and need to take a morale check. And the last of the Hind weaponry. Sometimes I only let them fire kind of 1 or 2 weapons. But technically they do have 3 weapons, so I'm just going to go all out. They should bring like an awesome amount of firepower. And this could represent multiple attack runs, not just one. So each turn is 15 minutes of time, so it's quite a long time to make strafing runs against units. So let's go for the 12.7mm Yak B. So I'll roll to hit on a 3+. I fail. There we go. So that's my attack run. He's now done both of his actions. Did a move around from there and his attack run. That's not too bad. They weren't annihilated, so I guess that's something. Okay, so next move from the Mujahideen. I'll go for another attack with this heavy machine gun against the infantry there. I'll go for the same target, -12 focus fire. So I need a 3 or higher to hit. I hit. And then I roll damage, which will be, I think, +1 against infantry. +1, no cover from up there. Wow, they rolled a 7 as well. That's awesome. 7, 1 casualties, and -1 morale. Oh, they only got -1 morale, so I'll make that 5. Casualties are not that common in this game, so when you get casualties, I try to lessen the amount of bad stuff that happens. Okay, and a suppress 2, I believe. Is that right? Suppress 2, 1 casualties, and 1 morale. Yeah, okay. Okay, so that's his second action. Now it'll be a Soviet action. I'll go for another gunship strike, because these are fucking awesome. Would they see the HMG at this point? Well, the sniper's going to supposedly take out the HMG. I think because they did their pass before, they would have seen all the fighting beforehand, and they've come back and they've kind of lined up in this area, I would say. Next turn, they can then look at this HMG. I don't think they would. Let's say on a 5+, he realizes the threat. Wow, he does. Okay. Seeing the gunfire of the 12.7mm, he kind of adjusts his angle a little bit. He's on that side, so it would make it a challenge. You don't want to collide with your buddy there. I think he'd notice it, but you don't want to collide with the other. If he turns like this, they'd essentially collide. So he's just going to attack one of these other ones here. I'll randomize between these 3. He's attacking the commander, so that's not ideal, but that's life in the fast lane. So, okay. Whoop. Poor commander. All he's trying to do is command some forces. And he's getting hit by rockets. Sad times. Okay, so let's go for it. Both my actions done. So let's roll some strikes. Rockets on a 3+, fail. 23mm on a 3+, success. And the 12.7mm, fail. Wow, got away really lightly. So it's just the 23mm, which is a +2, so +1. Wow, the commander got away very, very lightly there. +1 is a 7. Ooh, not so lightly. Okay, so I take a casualties and -1 morale. Down to 5. I've got a casualties. Oops. And they'll need to take a morale check at the end of the turn. And they're also suppressed too. Congratulations. And if a unit takes 3 casualties, it's removed. Okay, so that is the 2 Hinds. We now have the Mujahideen to respond. Taking both actions. Suppress 2, suppress 2. I will say he did his correction. He's already done his correction, so that would actually cost him an action usually, but that's fine. I'll just ignore it for the moment. All we have left is this infantry unit, and he's going to try to attack that light machine gun down there on a 3+. He succeeds. Oops. It's a little bit big for AK-74s. And I'll roll damage. There's no cover down there. Which is a 4. Suppressed 1. Wow. And -2 to morale. That's pretty good going. That's 6. And need a morale check. Oops. Come on, Tabletop Simulator. So he's made 1 action. Now it would be the Soviet actions. I will... I'll probably try to make his next... Oh, actually, he was suppressed from last turn, so that he doesn't have any more actions left. Let's say that's when I make my move as the commander. That'll be my action. And then I've got 1 more action from him. He'll try again against this light machine gun down here. Succeeds with a 3+. And... oh, wait a second. He's beyond 500 meters, so he can't inflict morale damage. So that's actually nonsense. He is not moraled at all. But as a 5, that will be still suppressed 1. And because these guys are veterans, they also can't be suppressed 2. So if I just remember that. Cannot be suppressed 2. They're too good for that. Okay, so he's made both his actions. So I'll just put a second dot there because the suppression causes him to lose his second action. They made both their actions. This Mujahideen here will only become unbroken if a friendly unit moves near him. Currently, everyone is busy being rocket striked, and this guy's busy firing, so they're just going to hunker down, and no one's telling them to get back in the fight. I don't think. Mujahideen, 2nd platoon. I didn't even look at his orders. That's awesome. Halt all uncontrolled fire. Stabilize the line along the ridge line. Oh. Rightmost squad. Fix enemy infantry below it. Prevent further flank movement. Wow, I really should have looked at his orders before I start resolving. But he didn't really have much chance to. Oh, he only had those 2 actions really. The HMG and the So let's have a look. All squads suppress and disrupt enemy machine gun position, which is what the we could say. We'll say that we'll put this on the light machine gun here. So we'll put this on. He asked for the light machine gun, so that's what I'll do. I made a mistake. I didn't look at his orders, so that's what I'll do. I'll make this 8 and that 5. So we'll say he wanted to target the light machine gun. That's understandable. So instead of the infantry squad, he's done that. Pinned squads hold terrain without attempting movement. That's fine. Everyone's pinned. I'll attempt to rally my broken squad. So if he had any actions, he could move and try to rally them, but he's busy getting attacked by rockets. Rightmost squad from the command squad perspective. Well, so that would be this guy. Fix the enemy, prevent further uphill movement. Yeah, that would make sense because they were trying to flank up this hill, but he wasn't expecting. Last turn there were no helicopters around, so he wasn't expecting to be helicoptered to shit. So that's about as good as he could do. That will be all of that. Now we'll go to the Soviet Airborne. They can pretty much continue their turn. They've still got a few units who haven't done anything yet. He's suppressed one, but he'll still have a few actions. Okay, what do I got? Sniper team, I want that heavy machine gun down, then command if possible. So Sniper's going to attack the heavy machine gun. He is in range. I think he's a bit higher up on the hill, so I don't think these strikes would really affect him. And it could have happened before these helicopters came overhead. He's got 15 minutes to turn, so you know at some point during this turn he'll hopefully be able to target that sniper. So I'll allow him to do it on a 2+. Yep, he's easily able to. He'll have cover. And that is all. With a sniper rifle, there's no modifier, so it'll be a -1 to damage. That does suppress, so, oops. So that heavy machine gun suppressed next turn. I'll do his second attack. On a 2+, he fails, so somehow he's reloading or trying to find a better shot, or maybe that's when the rocket strikes happened and he lost line of sight completely, so sometimes the dice, you know, tell you what you need to hear. What else have we got? Light machine guns suppress the insurgents. I'll take infantry moving up the rear of the sniper team to flank the Dushman. Okay, so light machine gun here fully suppressed. Light machine gun here suppressed, but it was suppressed last turn, so that means he's no more actions. He's made one action. What does he want to do with this other squad here? I'll take the infantry moving up the rear. I think he wants to move all those infantry up the rear, so we will do that. Move 500 meters to here. Put them... Oh, they'll be a bit slower climbing up the hill, so I'll put them like that and keep facing the enemy so they don't get flanked. 500 meters to there. A little bit slower for moving uphill. 10. And this infantry here to move up and flank. Probably about there. Okay, and that's pretty much the Soviet turn. They've got one more here. One more action from this light machine gun, who is going to... I'd probably shoot at the 1,000 meters. He's a bit out. He's out of lethal range. They're only at 1,000 meter range, so he can maybe attack these. I'll attack these guys who are getting their ass kicked by helicopters. Success on a 2+, and -1 for cover. So no effect. I rolled a 1, and -1 is nothing. So I fired, but it didn't really do anything. So it's okay. I can at least show that he fired up there. And maybe that's to do with helicopters wasting them. Okay. Oops. Okay, so that's pretty much everything resolved there. Make sure I line these up for some nice screenshots. So yeah, everyone's done all their actions. The Dushman also have some RPGs climbing up the hill from before. I will probably, if they want to, they can disperse. They might as well disperse. Yeah, we'll disperse. Oh, he's already dispersed, so he can go 1 kilometer as one action. But going uphill, let's probably reduce it to about 500 meters. And then I'll do another 500 meters to about here. Join the rest of the team to there. So they can move a bit faster when they disperse like that. And I usually do a dotted line for dispersed movement. But then it takes them one action to then reveal. This guy here was not dispersed, so I will disperse and then move about 500 meters. Because it prevents them being killed by helicopters or whatever. And it also means when they reveal, they can reveal anywhere within, I think, 1 kilometer. So it kind of means they're not where you think they are. That's quite a good way for Mujahideen to move around and prevents them being killed. the Mujahideen could, after this ambush, could have just dispersed and then just like beelined it off the table edge or in another direction. To be fair, ambushing on this side of the table wasn't great. The side of the road wasn't great. It'd be better to be on this side, and then you can just make a beeline and get out of there. But it looks like people wanted to hang around and continue the fight, so that's fine. It's maybe not optimal, but it's making it for an interesting game because the airborne give them a chance to outflank and try to cut them off. And yeah, so they've both done their 2 actions, dispersed and moved. Oh, he's moved twice, yeah, okay, because it's going uphill. It's quite rough terrain there, so that's 2 moves. And that is pretty much it. We will do our morale checks. This guy has a -1 morale check. Helicopters within 500 meters and low altitude. Infantry flanking. Are there any infantry flanking? Let's see. I don't think they are quite flanking. Yep, I'll say they're flanking. That's flanking, yep. It's a bit hard to see the, suppose I could use the line, couldn't I? If I lock this. That'd be 45 degrees. Yep, he'd be flanking. So, and helicopters, I mean, the helicopters are going to be flying overhead. You know, they're making passes. They've been within 500 meters. Well, I'll say they will be, but it doesn't really matter if they're within 500 meters. You're being attacked by rockets, by helicopters, so I'll say they're close enough to have a morale impact. So it's going to be a -2, I believe. Flanked and helicopters, so -2 from modifiers and -1 from morale, so -3 in total. I rolled a 6, so that gives me a 3, which is I lose 1 more morale. Takes me down to 4. Morale check complete. This guy here, pretty similar. He's not being flanked, but there are helicopters, so I'm making a -1. And -1 from morale, so -2 overall. I rolled an 8, which becomes a 6. No effect, so he's fine. And this guy here, he's taken pretty heavy fire from the 12.7mm machine gun, but he's a veteran, and so he's not being flanked or anything. Friendly helicopters probably boosts his morale, but I don't represent it. So he's only -1 to morale. He rolled an 8, which becomes a 7, and that is also no effect. So he's fine, he's good. He can take some 12.7mm machine gun fire. And that is pretty much the end of the resolution. There's nothing else going on the map. We've got a few, the Soviet commander has asked for these helicopters to take off. It'll take them some time to take off. It's often to take off and support these units with close range machine gun fire. So it'll take them some time to kind of make a big lazy turn around here, kind of like this. Taking off, I think, is 1 action, and then moving will be another action. So that'll be about as far as they can go. Oops. Let's give them the helicopter color. Okay, so that is pretty much it. I'll go through it and just erase all the little dots, because I know everyone's made all their actions. And players and umpires don't need to see that. All they need to know is that things have been resolved. That's just for me to keep track of who's made 2 actions and who hasn't. Get out of here, dots. We don't take kindly to your attack around these parts. Oh, shit! Can I undo that? I hate using undo in Tabletop Simulator. It's so awkward, because you just don't know what's going to happen. Does it erase all your stuff? Is everything fine? That looks okay. I'm so scared of using undo, it's so bizarre. Looks okay. Alright. Be real careful this time not to erase that helicopter line. Ugh. Ugh. Okay, that's good. This guy's here. That's quite an eventful turn. No helicopter shot down, but plenty of carnage. And yeah, that's pretty much the end of the turn. I'll start making my reports and screenshots and let the umpires know they can make their reports. And yeah, everything's looking good. And then I also have these like massively oversized pieces, so I'll make some like close range screenshots of like what's happening here and what's happening here, and then I'll kind of like use these as my like overview. For example, the convoys here, the BMPs are here, the infantry are here, and this flanking down here and being attacked by these guys. Whoops. Kind of like that, and then I can kind of zoom out and be like, well, this is my overview of the turn. Those guys are there. Hinds are there. For example, I put all the, just like one unit for each platoon, or kind of squad of each platoon. So yeah, that's kind of how I do my overviews. And that is it. That is the resolution of Hind Seek. 1 hour, 15 minutes. It's not too bad. So yeah, hope that's useful, and yeah, happy gaming.